What's up, Guardians, and welcome back, Warlocks. I'm Profane, thanks for checking out the video. Today we'll be checking out an electrifying, lore-accurate Stormcaller build that's not only powerful, but it's super fun to use. Stormcallers don't just study the storm, but they become one with it. This ethos is tied closely to freedom, unpredictability, and raw power. Traits not all Warlocks seek, traits not all Warlocks can handle. Stormcaller Warlocks are relatively rare in the lore of Destiny 2 because mastering the Arc subclass, specifically the ability to wield lightning and control storms, requires an extraordinary level of discipline, understanding, and willingness to embrace danger. Since the inception of the Stormcaller class back in Destiny 1, this has been an incredible option for Warlocks to be able to melt big groups of enemies by channeling the raw power of lightning to unleash devastating AoE attacks that clears entire waves of enemies in seconds. Through the course of several years, we've seen a lot of changes and a lot of adaptations to the Stormcaller, but here in the final shape, we've truly mastered the storm. With the inclusion of the Prismatic class, Stormcaller Warlocks are able to transfer some of their most powerful traits and abilities into a hybrid build that gives the Stormcaller more survivability, more ability uptime, and more damage output than ever before. This has increased the performance of several Warlock exotics like the Getaway Artist and the Fallen Sunstar. But today we're focusing on the synergy that the Prismatic Stormcaller will have with the Crown of Tempest. The Crown of Tempest is one of the most versatile Stormcaller exotic armor pieces, as it provides a substantial increase to ability uptime, and it extends the duration of the Stormtrance super, thanks to its intrinsic trait called Conduction Tines. This exotic continues to create extraordinary synergy with the standard Stormcaller subclass, but with Prismatic we get abilities that the Stormcaller has never possessed before, most notably Devour. When paired with the Prismatic subclass, the Crown of Tempest allows us to hone in on the full power of the storm without feeling like a glass cannon. We'll have a stacking bonus to ability regeneration whenever we defeat enemies with Arc abilities, and Jolt, which is extremely cohesive with Devour, as it'll grant bonus grenade energy and full health restoration whenever defeating enemies. This makes for an extremely easy to use build that will give you a ton of bonus survivability to get you through the most difficult PvE content. Whenever we defeat enemies with any Arc ability or a source of Jolt, Conduction Tines will activate and it'll remain active for 7 seconds. Each enemy that's defeated from an Arc ability or Jolt will add 1 stack of Conduction Tines with a maximum of 3 stacks, and the timer for Conduction Tines will refresh as you move up in stacks. At 1 stack, you'll see an increase of 168% to the regeneration rate of your grenade, melee, and super energy. With 2 stacks, you'll see an increase of 335%, and at 3 stacks, you'll see a 503% increase. With several options of triggering Jolt and multiple Arc abilities at our disposal, we'll be able to maintain a 3 stack of Conduction Tines as long as we're actively engaged in combat, maximizing on our ability uptime and our efficiency at handling enemies. When we are in our Stormtrance super, Conduction Tines will continue to regenerate ability energy, but it's also going to extend how long we can stay in Stormtrance. At 1 stack of Conduction Tines, we'll have a 22% reduction to the decay of our super bar. At 2 stacks, that'll increase to 44%, and at 3 stacks, it'll increase to 65%, which is going to allow us to stay in our Stormtrance super for more than double the amount of time. Along with the Stormtrance super, Stormcallers are able to carry over the Lightning Surge aspect, Storm Grenades, and the Chain Lightning melee, along with several fragments that have been augmented to fit the Prismatic subclass. We will not be using Chain Lightning with this build, but we will be heavily focusing on our use of Storm Grenades and Lightning Surge. The reason that we're not using Chain Lightning is because the Prismatic subclass gives us the option of Arcane Needles. When this is equipped, we will have 3 total melee charges, which means we have up to 3 consecutive Lightning Surges that we could perform. We could still take advantage of the unraveling benefits that the Arcane Needles cause, but we're more interested in the bonus melee charges, which is going to allow us to perform a lot of Lightning Surges, spreading a ton of Jolt across the battlefield. To add to the bonus energy that Devour and Crown of Tempest will provide, we're also going to have the benefits of Ionic Traces, granting us 12.5% bonus melee and grenade energy, and 15% bonus class ability energy. So between our Storm Grenade, our Lightning Surge, our Super, and our weapons, we'll be able to keep Conduction Tines active almost indefinitely. When it comes to our choice in Prismatic Fragments, we've chosen to go with the Facet of Dominance to directly improve the performance of our Storm Grenades, as these will now apply Jolt. We're also using the Facet of Awakening, which is going to cause ionic traces to be generated whenever rapidly defeating enemies with arc abilities. We're pairing this with the Elemental Siphon artifact mod, so that our kinetic and arc weapons will also be able to create ionic traces, giving us the ability to create up to 2 ionic traces at the same time, giving us twice the amount of ability energy. Since Lightning Surge will put us hard and heavy into the heart of our enemy, having Facet of Protection will greatly improve our durability, as it will gain a 15% increase in damage resistance whenever surrounded by enemies. This will get increased to 32% whenever we're in our Transcendent state. Our Transcendent state will be an especially eventful opportunity to be able to spam Lightning Surges along with combo grenades that are made of stasis and void energy. To give ourselves even more damage resistance, we have added in the Galvanic Armor artifact mod, which is going to give us an extra 30% damage resistance whenever we are amplified. And we should be amplified all the time, with an infinite supply of Storm Grenades and Lightning Surges at our disposal. Since we're loaded up on light abilities, we're only going to generate light transcendent energy. So to help charge more darkness energy, we are using the Facet of Sacrifice, and this will give us bonus energy whenever we defeat enemies while we have Devour, Radiance, or Amplified active. And since we're going to have one of these active at all times, we're going to be able to have a ton of bonus darkness energy, helping us cast our Transcendency much more often. Another example of this build's superiority over its standard counterpart is the addition of Radiance, and we'll be able to trigger that whenever striking enemies with our Arcane Needle or Lightning Surge, thanks to the Facet of Dawn. When Radiance is active, our weapons will gain the ability to pierce barrier shields, and they'll have a 25% bonus in damage, which lasts for 8 seconds. This will stack on top of the bonus damage provided by weapon surge mods and activity modifiers. And because we have added in the Radiant Orbs artifact mod, whenever we collect orbs, we'll trigger Radiance. So we should be able to have this bonus weapon damage and barrier piercing ability pretty consistently. There's 2 other artifact mods that are going to add a great deal of bonus damage and ability regeneration for us, whether we're using this with Prismatic or as a standard Stormcaller. Shock and Awe will play off of our arc abilities and arc weapons to create these huge bursts of lightning that are going to jolt enemies. These can only trigger once every 5 seconds, but they'll provide us with an additional source of damage and an additional source to keep Conduction Tines active. We're also using Shield Crush, which is going to give us an increase in grenade damage and regeneration whenever we are amplified or radiant. This will be a 25% increase in damage and a 25% increase to the regeneration rate. If we were to somehow apply Woven Mail or avoid Overshield, then we could also give that same bonus to our Lightning Surge. But to do that, we would need to use the Navigator or a void weapon like the Vexcalibur, the Manticore, or a weapon that comes with Repulsor Brace. The weapons that we do intend on using with this build will be arc weapons that come with traits like Dragonfly, Chain Reaction, and most importantly, Volt Shot. Weapons that also come with traits like Demolitionist, Pugilist, or Grave Robber would be especially beneficial for us, as these will help regenerate our abilities even faster. The Indebted Kindness with Volt Shot would be a great option to use with this build, and since we are going to perform a lot of lightning searches, having a shotgun with 1-2 punch or trench barrel would also be a great choice. If we do go with an auto rifle like the Kvastov, the Prosecutor, or Shatterprice, then we will want to make sure that we're using the Sustained Fire artifact mod to be able to gain bonus damage resistance when using an auto rifle, along with targeting auto loading to gain bonus damage and automatic reloading of those auto rifles. The best exotics to pair up with the Crown of Tempest would be the Trinity Ghoul, the Centrifuge, and the Thunderlord. But there's also the Ergo Sum that would have great synergy with this build. With the Arc Conductor weapon trait, we could have a constant overshield with the added benefits of surging nearby enemies with bonus lightning damage, something we could also trigger by using the Risk Runner. There's also the Stormbringer option, which would create bolts of lightning that strike down after rapid final blows. Getting either of these on a wave frame would be absolutely incredible, and a big benefit in running the Ergo Sum is that it does generate bonus transcendent energy, so it'd be a great option to pair up with the Crown of Tempest. And if you do go with the Ergo Sum, I would recommend using the Blade Stamina artifact mod so that you would regain ammo after rapid final blows. Now that we've covered our options in class tree, artifact, and weapons, let's talk about our armor mods, and character stats. When it comes to the main character stats to focus on, we are going with resilience to reduce the amount of incoming damage. We've already got a great deal of super, grenade, and melee energy coming back to us, but by focusing on discipline and strength, we could reduce the cooldown of these abilities even more. If we are headed into in-game activities, I would also recommend having high recovery. This way your health will begin to regenerate faster, and will have a shorter cooldown on our class ability. We could also focus a little bit towards intellect, but we have chosen to go with the Ashes to Assets helmet mod, which is going to build up more super energy as we defeat enemies with our grenades. Since our abilities are going to be on a shorter cooldown, we can afford to focus some of our armor mods towards increasing our overall damage output. So we're using Helmet Siphon, Firepower, Heavy Handed, and the Reaper mod to create orbs. Those orbs are going to create armor charges, and whenever those armor charges are active, we're going to have a ×2 weapon surge given to all of our arc weapons, allowing us to mow through those enemies much faster. If our loadouts include weapons like the Indebted Kindness or the Ergo Sum, then I would recommend adding on this Special Finisher mod. This way we'll be able to generate extra special ammo after performing finishers. Having the ability to inflict a ton of jolt and lightning damage through our enemies is going to let us dominate the battlefield, making this the perfect prismatic add clear build. So if you haven't tried the Crown of Tempest with the Prismatic Warlock, well, it's about time you do so, because this Prismatic Stormcaller build is better than ever, an incredibly fun and powerful build for Warlocks to use. And if you need help putting this build together for yourself, then be sure to check out the Mobalytics link that's down in the description, where you'll be able to find this and a ton of other great in-game builds. With that said, that brings us to an end of today's build video, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Crown of Tempest, the Prismatic Warlock, and the current state of Destiny. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new place to call home, then be sure to check out the Discord link that's down in the description, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.